NYYST. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Swinging for the fences, knock it out the park. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Christian and Chris, of course SGR. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Homie, New York, Yankee sports talk. Record, rain or shine, grab your shades and umbrellas. NYYST, you're hanging with the fellas.
Welcome back. This is episode 301A of the NYYST podcast. We are presented by NYYNewsTV. I am your host, Christian, and today I'm joined by my special co-host, my cousin, Jason. What's up, man?
What up? I was trying to sound like Chris.
You often imitate it, never duplicate it, because no one wants to be him.
Exactly.
So we're recording here Friday night. It is your birthday, so happy birthday.
Thank you.
This is my birthday present to you. So
for my birthday presents, the Mets are losing right now.
3-0. Actually, yes. The Scherzer just gave up another home run there. So another one.
I like it.
So I was thinking about doing a bonus show, not on Patreon, for the main feed. So then this morning, somebody sent me a report card that another podcast did for the Yankees for the 2022 regular season. And I was looking at it and I was like, I don't agree with a lot of this. And I remember that if you go back to episode 291, Chris and I did midseason report cards for the Yankees. So I thought that would be a good idea to go back and like give them that was the midterm. Now this is the end of the season before the postseason clouds anything. So I said, let's do that. But unfortunately, Chris couldn't join me. And I said, hey, birthday boy, you wanna sit in and do the show tonight? So you decided that was a good idea.
Sure.
So are you ready for this?
I'm stoked. So ready.
So basically what we're going to do is I have a list of players here. We're just going to go off the list that I have from the midseason. Some of these guys are going to be incomplete. And then we're going to add because like you can't really go off of like, let's say a Matt Carpenter. Would you want to give him a grade? It's hard to give Matt Carpenter a grade because he's missed so much time. Like we both said that he was an A+ at the All-Star break, but it's kind of hard to say, oh, he's been an A+ all year when we haven't seen him in 6 weeks, although he is going to be on the postseason roster, just waiting to see what the role he's going to fill is. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go down the line. We're going to give him a grade, and we can discuss it for a hot minute there. You all right with that?
Sure thing.
So basically, we'll start with like I said, Chris and I both gave Matt Carpenter an A+ at the All-Star break. I'm gonna stay with an incomplete for him because I think it's hard to give him an actual grade for the season after he unfortunately fouled off a ball off his foot, and he's been missing a lot of time recently. So Aroldis Chapman got an F from both Chris and I at the All-Star break, and he's gonna stay with an F for me. What a colossal failure he's been this season. I guess Aaron Boone's gonna put him on the postseason roster. He said he was encouraged by his last outing, but I can't imagine a scenario where the Yankees give him any type of meaningful innings in this postseason. If we never see Aroldis Chapman in the Yankee uniform again, it'll be too soon.
I call him Horribilis Chapman, so obviously I'm going to give him an F- because he's absolutely horrible. I can't wait till next year when he's not on the roster. I don't ever want to see him again. I hope he goes back to Florida and back to shooting guns out of his window. That's all I think he's good at.
I think he shot it into a wall in his garage. I don't think he was actually shooting out his window.
I thought he was shooting out the window at the ground. So
I could possibly. He's that crazy. So
he's a dirtbag. I want to see him gone.
So I don't think we have to worry about him being here next year. It's just that are the Yankees going to actually use this guy in a meaningful role come Tuesday? And I really hope not, because I don't see it ending well in any.
Boone will put him in a clutch position where he shouldn't be, because clearly Chapman's proven this year he can't handle it. And it seems like that's what Boone likes to put him in those situations anyway, and I can't figure out for the life of me why.
All right, so we got Garrett Cole here next. So we're going basically alphabetically, and then I'm going to replace like Joey Gallo. I'm going to replace with somebody else here because he's not here anymore. But Garrett Cole is next. Chris gave him a C plus at the trade. Keep saying the trade deadline at the All-Star break. I gave him a B plus. I got to lower my grade overall for Garrett Cole this year. I'm giving Garrett Cole a C minus. If you look at the numbers, obviously the guy had a historic year in terms of Yankee history, breaking Ron Guidry's single season strikeout record. But for what Garrett Cole's supposed to be, he's had a terrible year. The ERA, I can't find my phone to look this up. The ERA finished over 3.5 this year, I believe. Guy I'm pretty sure he led the major leagues in home runs. That's why I wanted to do this before the postseason, because if Garrett Cole comes out and shows out in the postseason and does what he's supposed to do, it completely changes the type of season that he had. But for the regular season grade for me for Garrett Cole is a C minus.
I'd agree with you. I'd go with C minus. His ERA is 3.51. It seems to me he's either strikeout or bust, because either he's striking you out or he's giving up a home run. Every time the Yankees seem to get a lead, Cole likes to give it back up and give up a 2-run dinger out to, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it gets to be annoying to be the ace.
I tweeted that on Tuesday night. I tweeted he was a party pooper. Judge hits 62 and he gives it right back.
Yeah,
I know the game didn't mean anything, but still, you'd like to win Judge's 60-second home run game.
Yeah, and especially because he was setting a record himself. You'd think he'd be out there, and they both broke the record the first inning.
Right.
So you'd think that he would want to pitch good that entire game. Which I'm not saying he doesn't want to pitch good. I think Cole's very into the game. I'm not going to take that away from him, but I just he's not coming up big and when he needs to. It's just he's not who he is. If they put him in, I'm going to be nervous.
I don't want to get too.
It's when they put him in. When assuming first game, I'm going to.
That's why I don't want to go too deep into the postseason stuff, because Chris and I are going to be live on NYYST Monday night at 8:30. We're going to break down the series right now. They're scheduled to. They will face the winner of the Guardians Tampa series, and Cleveland won today, so they got a 1-0 lead in that series. So next up is Nestor Cortez. Chris gave him a B plus. I gave him an A minus at the midway part of the season here. I'm going to stick with the A minus, man. I think Nestor Cortez was absolutely brilliant this year. Stepped up in a way that not a lot of people anticipated, including myself. His first real full year as a major leaguer, and he deserves the ball in game one. Will he get it? I don't think so, but as I said, we're going to break that down in more detail once we know who's starting game one and come Monday night. But I mean, Nestor Cortez, except for and if you're watching on NYYST, you can see the air quotes, the IL stint. He's been exactly what Garrett Cole is paid to be, an ace of the staff.
Yeah, I'd give him a solid A. I think that he hasn't left anything out there for us to want. He's been everything we want and then some. I mean, I've obviously been following him since last year.
And you spent $800 on autographs for him.
I did, man. I actually absolutely love him. There's something about a guy that got drafted like 900th overall and been through the system left and right. You thought it was going to be nothing. It's almost like a Rocky story, He's the underdog, and here he is. It's just I just have a soft spot for him. He's probably one of my favorite players on the Yankees currently. I'm never too worried when he's on the mound.
All right. So next up is Josh, or as I like to call him, Wash Donaldson. Chris gave him a C. I gave him a D. I'll bump him to a C minus. I don't know why. I guess the only reason I'm going to bump him to a C minus here is because when I brought up his name, I had visions of the walk-off grand slam as the immediate first thing that popped into my head. So, and he's played a really, really good third base this year. That's what saved him from getting an F at the midterms, was his third base play. He's been pretty stellar over there. Plus, I think he's shown a penchant for coming up with a big hit. He's got I believe 4 walk-off hits this year, which ties Judge for the team lead. So he's been clutch certainly at the right times, but it's overall a really disappointing year for him. Not nearly the close to the MVP caliber player he used to be. So I'll give him a bump just for that grand slam, but it's still a pretty terrible year for him. C-.
Yeah, I'd maybe give him a D plus, because not only his offense was trash, it wasn't there. His defense, I can't complain about that. I just don't like the guy's attitude. I think he created more shit that needed to be started. With between the Jackie comments and all that stuff. Like, if you're gonna be like that, play good, and he's not playing good. I think he came back from his paternity leave.
He was better after that year. After he had that kid, he played better after that.
That he had is that when he had the walk off? I think right after. I think it might have been his first game back, or it was somewhere around that time. And I don't know, maybe he was just high on life for that one game, and then after that, it was just like lackluster again. So I'd give him a D plus.
So the next name we have on the list here is Gallo, but he's not here anymore. So let's slot in Oswaldo Cabrera right there, who got called up sometime in August, I believe. I don't know the exact date in my head. So the guy's been absolutely sensational since he came up. He finished the regular season with 247 average, 741 OPS. It doesn't really jump off the page at you. 6 home runs, 19 RBIs, but the guy literally played 3 games in the outfield in the minor leagues, and he became the Yankees' everyday right fielder. And then when Harrison Bader came back from injury, became the Yankees' everyday left fielder and did a really damn good job. I think he led the major leagues in outfield assists this year, or at least since the time that he had come up. He had 7 of them. I give him a B plus, man. I mean, he would have got an A if he would have, and he did hit better as he got more regular at bats. But if he had a better overall offensive season, he's an A for sure. But I give him a B plus. Oswaldo Cabrera was fucking fantastic this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a B plus. He threw dirt at me during the last game we were at.
Threw dirt at you?
Yeah, man. When he made that catch. Well, it wasn't a catch. Remember, it was ruled
a trap.
Yeah. So when he made that, he scooped the dirt, and the dirt flew at us. That's how, it was that close. It was wild. And I just watched. That's how I knew it wasn't a catch. I watched the dirt fly. I assumed it wasn't. And that's why I was texting you during the game. Obviously, we weren't sitting together. But, I mean, he's stellar. He's played. What position hasn't he played?
Catcher in center field.
Yeah. It's unreal. Like, you got guys like Glaber who can't go from second to shortstop. This kid's playing everything, and he's just been hit. He's starting to hit better. Obviously, he's getting more at bats, like I said. And I can't wait till next year. I hope he's on the starting roster, and I hope there's more to come. I'm really excited to watch him.
All right, next up is Aaron Hicks. Chris gave him a C. I gave him a C minus. I'm lowering it to a D. I had enough of Aaron Hicks, and he has played better recently. He had a couple of his better games of the year after he had those comments in the paper when they were in Milwaukee about how he can go help another team play and blah, blah, blah. But that vision, that image of him standing and staring at the wall with his head down with the baseball behind him on Derek Jeter night, no matter what the Yankees do this year, that image is going to be burned in my head forever. And again, I said about Aroldis Chapman, if he never played another game as a Yankee, it would be too soon. The same thing for Aaron Hicks, man. I don't know how the Yankees are going to pull this off. We're getting rid of him, but he needs to go. D for Aaron Hicks.
Yeah, I give him an F. Obviously, me and you talk, I don't like him. I don't want to see him in pinstripes ever again. He's terrible. That playing outfield was garbage. And then what did it for me the other day was they had a catcher drop the ball, and you watched him walk over to it, and watching him hit the ball out to the kid grabbing the balls, it looked like the perfect golf swing, like he was putting. You could tell he ain't a baseball player. He's a golfer in my eyes, just like his wife. Get the hell out of here. I don't want to see you ever again.
His wife is a golfer, or he
I'm
had an
pretty sure his
affair with
wife's a
Tiger
golfer.
Woods' niece?
Huh?
I thought he had an affair with Tiger Woods' niece.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe his wife's involved with golf, or someone's involved with golf, or is somebody wanted him to something with golf. You could tell
He's a scratch golfer. That's what he does for fun. But I
he's the
believe he
fucking
had.
twat, and I don't want to see him ever again.
Okay, well that's fair enough.
What?
All right, Kyle Hagashioka. Chris and I both failed him at the midway point of the season. I'm going to raise my grade a big time for Higgy. I'm going to give Higgy a C minus. He really got hot here towards the end of the season, hot enough where you have to ask, is he going to get some starts in the postseason? He finished the season with 10 home runs, really got some big hits, maybe not in meaningful games, but he came alive, and the defense is what it is. It wasn't as bad as it was in the first half of the year. So I'm raising my grade to a C minus for Higgy.
I give him like a B minus, only because I think I like Hagashioka. He's got 9 home runs on the season.
I think he finished with 10.
10? How many games did he play? Is it minimal games? If I think he played good for the games he was in. I think
229 at bats, so it's like a third of a season about.
Well, so he's probably hitting more home runs than most of the other players, but it's I think just Trevino got hot, was playing good, and he just took Hagashioka's place. I just think he didn't have the chance. I mean, I've liked Hagashioka since last year because I hated Sanchez. So I think I'm just a little jaded in that situation. But I think he plays good when he needs to. He's come up big a few times.
All right, next up is Clay Holmes. We both gave him an A+ at the midway point of the season. I'm gonna cheat here and not give him a grade. I'm gonna call it an incomplete year because pretty much since that point he started to stink, and then he got hurt, and he's hurt now. It's still kind of up in the air whether he's going to pitch in the ALDS. So I don't really want to give Clay Holmes a grade. If I was, it definitely wouldn't be an A+, but I'm going to go with an incomplete for his year.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, he hasn't really. He hasn't been there. What are you really going to grade him on? Just really nothing.
Right.
I mean, he played good, and then that was it.
So next is Aaron James Judge, the new American League and New York Yankee home run king in a single season on my birthday. See, we were very close to each other, although 4 years apart. Okay. So he hit 62 in his first at bat in Game 2 of the doubleheader on Tuesday night. Chris and I both won A+. I mean, if you give him anything but an A+, you're an absolute moron. I don't know what else to say. The guy had one of the single greatest offensive seasons ever in the history of Major League Baseball, and just casually became a really good center fielder just for the fun of it. So it's an A+ all the way around for Aaron Judge.
Yeah, you can't give him anything else than an A+. He carried the Yankees when they were playing shitty. It seemed like for a while there, if he didn't hit a home run, Yankees didn't win. I think he is the Yankees right now. A+. There's nothing else. A++.
All right. So next up is IKF. Chris gave him a D+. I gave him a D. I'll raise it a little bit. I'll say C- on the year for IKF. No, fuck that. D. I'm staying with the D. It's my show. I'm allowed to do that. I changed my mind. I'm sticking with a D. Just because right now going into the postseason, I don't trust him to field the ball cleanly, and that's what he's here to do. His bat did come alive a little bit. He hit with a little bit more pop by what? What did he hit? It wind up with 4 home runs this year?
I thought 3.
4.
4?
He finished with 4 home runs. I just don't trust him overall for what he was supposed to do. He did not do it well, so I'll stick with the D.
Yeah, no, I was. But when you said C, I was like, no, D. There's no way, because if he was doing his job, Peraza wouldn't be up, or he would have been sent back down at this point. I don't think that the Yankees trust him too much either. I can't get past all the errors that he's had. Plus, there's been some weak ass throws that he's thrown from short to first, And if you didn't have Rizzo as your first baseman, they're not making that play, and it's going to be an error, or it's going to end up being an extra base. He's just not reliable.
All right, we're just going down the list here. Michael King was on the list at the All-Star break. Chris gave him an A, I gave him an A-. Obviously, it's an incomplete year with the injury. Fortunately, he doesn't need Tommy John, so he'll be ready for the start of the 2023 season. This is as big of a loss for the Yankees as anybody heading into the postseason, because he's really like the missing piece right now that they need to really feel confident about them going far in the postseason. But obviously, we can't really give him a grade because of the injury.
Yeah, I just randomly found his autograph upstairs in the kitchen when I was cleaning. I remember how hyped I was when I bought it, and I was kind of let down. He was only there for a little bit. I think he broke his arm because I bought his card. So
he broke his arm because he needed to. Aroldis Chapman couldn't get out of his own way, and they had to bring him in a game that he wasn't going to pitch in. I mean, the injury probably still would have occurred, but we can blame Aroldis Chapman for that.
Everything's Chapman's fault.
All right, DJ LeMahieu is up next. Chris gave him a B-. I gave him a B. I got a, C- for DJ LeMahieu this year. I hate to do it. I love DJ LeMahieu, but this is the second year in a row he's been hurt now. And when DJ LeMahieu is hurt, he's not a player that can play compromised. The Yankees still don't really know what his role is going to be heading into the ALDS. Really disappointed in LeMahieu's performance this year, mainly because of the injury. But, I mean, there's certain guys where we'll go incomplete because of the injury, and then there's somebody that I'll grade because of an injury. And, DJ LeMahieu's performance suffered because of the toe, and then he went on the IL. It's back-to-back years now, and it's not a good trend that he was setting after being so damn good in 2019 and 2020. But I'm going to go C- for LeMahieu.
Yeah, I'd go D. I like DJ. To me, he just seems overall, since he signed his contract, actually since he had children, which I could sympathize with a little bit.
Blaming the kids?
Yeah, I've noticed it, and I just haven't been the biggest DJ fan. And then this year, it's really just, he was good. He was a utility player. He was playing a bunch of positions, and but it was his offense. It's not there this year. Again, it becomes why he's here. He's not doing what it's just he's not performing. It's bad. I know I'm not a professional baseball player, but I can't say your second toe. I'm gonna have to have my kid step on it, and then I'm gonna go outside and try to hit a bat and see if it hurts me. It just seems like he should still be able to hit a ball here and there.
All right, so you know what? Next time I see you, I'm going to smash your toe with a bat, and then we'll see how well you do
Tomorrow
hitting off a tee. Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. Next up is actually on my list here is Jordan Montgomery. A from Chris, B+ from me. Traded to St. Louis, so see ya. Next, moving right along here is Wandie Peralta, who is on the IL. Hopefully, he'll be back for the ALDS. Chris gave him a B-. I gave him an A-. I'm going to stick with an A-. I love Wandie. I know there's a certain section of fans on Yankee Twitter that just don't like the guy, don't think he's very good, but Wandie he's very versatile out there. Can come in, get lefties, get righties, can bail you out of a bad situation, middle innings, set up, close. Wandie's a jack of all trades guy that you need in your bullpen. I'm a big Wandie guy. I'm staying with the A-.
Yeah, I give him a B. I was one of those people that didn't really care for him too much, and then he just, as the season grew, I think he's been playing a bigger role as people got hurt and injured and went down, and I can't complain about him. I think he's had like one shitty inning, so I'll give it to him. I like him.
All right, you like him, okay? Jason likes him. All right.
That's all that matters. If I like them, they're good.
All right. Next is Anthony Rizzo. Chris gave him an A-. I gave him a B+. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. I love Anthony Rizzo. I'm wearing his Italian Stallion shirt right there, as you can see. You can get it on NYY News on the website there in our shop. I love it. Anthony Rizzo is my guy. Even though I didn't want him, I think I'm on record as saying that I wanted Olson Freeman over him, but no knock on Rizzo. But after this, he hit for a lot of power early on this year. Then the back started acting up, wound up on the IL, missed a bunch of games, didn't hit for as much power. He hit like 230 this year, which is not an Anthony Rizzo type year. I got to lower the grade. He's still a vacuum over there at first base. I got to lower it to a B minus though. I can't go C in the C's for Rizzo, just, and you can call it bias or whatever, but teachers always, everybody knows it. Teachers have their favorite students, and they'll up the curve a little bit for their favorite students. If I wasn't judging this with my heart, I might give him a C plus, but I am a little bit, so B minus for Rizzo.
I give him a B. His defense alone it saved the game a bunch of times. The scoops he makes at first base, extending himself out like that, doing a split. It's crazy. He's athletic as hell. I mean, he hurt his back. He was out, missed some games. He's still, and then when he does hit, he gets hot. I give him a solid B.
All right. Next up is Giancarlo Stanton. Okay, they call him Dig Bick down in Miami.
What?
They call him Dig Bick down in Miami.
Why?
Change the first letters of each word.
Oh, I just call him Mike Stanton.
Oh, that's disrespectful.
No, it's his name, bro.
He don't like that.
Oh, well, he didn't like Giancarlo. That's why he changed it.
Yeah, I don't know the whole reason why he did that.
People made fun of him. He was a snowflake. He didn't want to be made fun of anymore, so he went by Mike, and then he was like, "Oh, I should be called Giancarlo because that's my name." So they went back to Giancarlo.
It's better anyway because the Yankees had him like Stan.
Yeah, I didn't like when they had that fucking those stupid nicknames, and he was a Parmesan Carlo, whatever the hell. It's just
just call him G, all right? Because when he's hot, he is a straight up G. But unfortunately, he was not a straight up G this year. I think, what did I say? Chris gave him an A. I gave him a B. He spent a lot of time on the IL, and then when he came off the IL, he was dreadful, like absolutely dreadful. He still finished with 31 home runs this year, which just shows you how good he is. It's amazing. 31 and 78, 759 OPS for Stanton that's not a Stanton OPS. He's one of these guys though that like I don't even care what he does in the regular season because we've seen him just mash in October, and that's what we want him to do. But I gotta grade him. I gotta drop him all the way to a C plus. It's hard to ignore the 31 home runs on a shortened season like that, but hurt and just hit 211 this year with a sub 800 OPS. I probably should go even lower, but like I said, he's one of my favorite players. I'll go C plus for Stanton.
Yeah, I can't even give him a grade. Like I just feel like he wasn't even there most of the season. I mean, he's hitting all these home runs. The guy doesn't even have like Aaron Judge swings through. Stanton barely moves his torso when he hits these balls. It's absolutely outrageous. I mean, it really is just disappointing every year he gets hurt, and I don't know how you grade that. I mean, it's I would probably be lower. I don't even know. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to disrespect him. I do like him, but it's just there.
All right, Jameson Taillon is next. Chris gave him B plus. I gave him B minus. My final grade for Taillon is, I guess, I'll give him a C plus. Man, he was highly average this year. There was times that you'd watch Taillon and you'd be like, "Wow, this guy's really good. This is a guy I trust in the postseason." And then the other times you give him 4 runs in 3 innings, and you're like, "This guy just like the." Kids you like to use the term mid. Like if you opened up the dictionary and looked up mid, you'd see fucking Jameson Taillon's face right there. I don't know how. Like if somebody asked me to describe that, that's what I would say. Describe mid to me. I'd be like, oh, just Jameson Taillon. He's just average, highly average pitcher, which is fine, but he's not a guy I trust giving to. Shit, you can say about a lot of guys that are going to get the ball, but he's just not a guy that profiles as the front end of the rotation guy. He's going to have his days where he's good, and he's going to have his days where he's bad. So C plus for Taillon.
Yeah, I just put him right in the middle of the C. I mean, he started off the season. Every Yankee pitcher started off the season awesome. Then he really hit like a lull there. I feel like he's coming back. He's been pitching better, but like I said, there's some innings he gives it up, and you're like, and you're not surprised by it. So I mean, he's a guy that's come back from a lot of things in his life. Good for him, but when he's just He's average. So I just go right in the middle with a C.
All right. Your brother. I'm sorry. This is Glaber. This is Glaber Torres. Okay, Glaber. Glaber got an A from Chris at the All-Star break. He got an B+ from me. I'm going to go B- as my final year grade because I can't ignore the All-Star, which really kind of should have been an All-Star first half. Then he was just awful. Like all the stuff that you said about him in 2020 and 2021 about how he might have been the worst everyday player in baseball, that was showing up until right around, when the team started to pick it up again in September. He got really hot, had some really big hits. Hey, when we went to that game, when it rained for like 9 hours, we sat there. He had 2 home runs in that game. So he did pick it up back towards the end of the year, or else this probably would have been really close to a D for me. But I'm going to go B- overall for Glaber Torres this year.
I mean, I'm a big Glaber fan. I'd give him a C. C-. You know what? He's turned me off in the past. Sure, he's hot, but you watch him after the All-Star break, you can see he's frustrated, and then he's doing his shit again, where he's barely running the first, or And on top of that, fuck him. When they asked him if Judge was going to break the home run record, he said no, and he said 57. Fuck him.
When did he say that?
He said it when they had him mic'd up on ESPN. They were asking him when they were talking to him. They're like, "Hey, do you think Judge is going to break it?" And he goes, "No, 57." And I'm like, fuck.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I was fucking pissed. So you know what? Just on behalf of Aaron Judge, I give him a C-. You're supposed to,
have your boys back, man.
Yeah, you're supposed to be there. Just like fuck CC for the stupid shit he said. I'm aggravated with him. I'm aggravated with
him. He walked that back, though.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he walked it back.
I haven't been paying attention as much since Marisa went on her business trip. It's been a little hectic in my house, so I might have missed it. But yeah, I give him C-. You got to have you got to have Aaron Judge's back. How do you not have his back? And like I said, his play, you can see he's almost playing like Hicks sometimes. I can't.
Well, he's never going to be a guy to. There's always going to be times where his head is up his ass. I mean, that's just who Glaber Torres is.
Yeah. Well.
A couple more here. Jose Trevino got an A- from Chris, a B from me. I'll stick with the B. I don't think it's fair to give him anything less. Really didn't hit as well in the second half of the year, but still great defensively behind the plate, calling a game, framing pitches. Doesn't have the strongest throwing arm, but he likes to run plays out there, throw behind runners. He gets his pitchers extra outs by doing that. And I think he's way more than what you could ever expected from him. He was not even supposed to be on the team. If Brian Cashman didn't trade for a guy that nobody can find, Robert Stack's fucking still looking for Ben Rortvet. He's on the next episode of Unsolved Mysteries still. But, Jose Trevino was really good this year. I'll stick with the B.
Was he really good, or are we just so used to seeing shit that
I think he was good this year. He had some clutch moments too.
He did. I give him a B-. I mean, like he was really good in the beginning of the season. His defense is on point. He's throwing out a bunch of people. I like the snap throws, the third that he pulls off. They always make my head like spin. He's gotten a little. He isn't as hot as he is batting wise as he was the first half. So I give him a B-.
All right, Luis Severino is next. He got a D+ from Chris, a B- from me. I'm gonna change my opinion here. Not my opinion. I'm just gonna give him an incomplete. He was just really a non-factor the second half of the year. It's hard for me to really like. I know I'm gonna say this again. There's some guys I'll grade based on the injury, and there's some guys that I won't. And I just can't grade Sevy based on because of the injury and him being gone for so long. Although, you know what? I'm really excited to see him pitch in Game 3. I'm going to assume he's pitching in Game 3 based on he was throwing absolute gas his last start in Texas. So I'm excited to see him pitch in the postseason. He's got a little bit of redeeming to do in October. So, but I'm going to give him an overall an incomplete here.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's tough to grade him. I just think if I think he's an important person just because of I think he gets the people pumped up, and he's probably how he refuses to come out of games, yells at Boone. The other day wouldn't even look Boone in the face. He just kept shaking his head no. I think he's just an important role of the team. So if I were to grade him, that's all I could grade him on. And so.
So we'll go. I'm on the Yankee 40-man roster page. We'll just go through this real quickly because there's only one person left on the list I want to save for last from the All-Star break. So we'll just go through some of these guys real quick that were either a little indigestion there, okay? Either came over at the All-Star break or really, weren't around enough to make this list at the All-Star break. So Albert Abreu, real quick. He's a back-end guy. Don't care. I'm not grading him incomplete. You want to chime in, just stop me at any point.
Nah.
Harrison Bader, again, I got to give him an incomplete. Finally showed up in September, but already I'm in love with this guy. I'm really excited to see him play a full year for the Yankees, but no grade for this year. Andrew Benintendi, again, an incomplete. It sucks that he broke the bone in his hand. I guess it doesn't in a way because we would have never really got to see Oswaldo Cabrera if he was healthy. But he was on his way to a real solid B time with like a B grade with the Yanks, but the injury is an incomplete. We already talked about Matt Carvin and Miguel Castro, same thing. He's a solid arm to have out in your bullpen. He's going to be one of these guys where he either looks extremely dominant or he just gets the shit knocked out of him. But again, because of the injury, incomplete.
F. How do you play for the Yankees and come over here with an orange or blue fucking mitt for your first game you play? F.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely had plenty of time to.
Yeah, and they make enough money. They make enough money. Loser.
Scott Efros. I don't know. I'm not really good again because of the injury, and he came over at the trade deadline. I can't really give him a grade. I would say he's probably a solid B, but again, he's going to be a guy that's going to get some opportunities to maybe close games in October, but really hard to give him a grade because of the injury that he suffered as well. Florial, I feel so bad for this kid. Not that, I mean, he never really got performed at a high level up here, but he also never got the opportunity. I feel like the Yankees were just gaslighting him every time they called him up. Here's a guy, Domingo Herman. You know what? He's a scumbag of a human, okay? Even though we were at the game, when we went to the game, it was 9/11. He ran out to the bullpen. He started that game with the flag like he was Sammy Sosa. So I guess he was trying to get in everybody's good graces. But you know what? As a father of a daughter, I can never get over the story of what he did. Even if I didn't have a daughter, I just don't condone that type of behavior. But we're going to talk about him as a baseball player. He was a B this year. He was an absolute B this year. He stepped in for Jordan Montgomery and did a really, really good job for this team. He's going to be somebody that they're going to put in the bullpen to maybe bridge some innings from the starter to the back end, some of these back end guys. As a baseball player, he was a B this year.
100%. He's come up big for us. He's a solid pitcher. I have more faith in him than I do Garrett Cole, to be honest with you. So I mean,
at least you know what you might get out of Herman. It's kind of easier to go into a game where you can kind of script it, knowing this guy's going to do this. Whereas with Cole, Cole could go out there and give you 8 shutout innings, or he can give up 5 home runs. You just don't know, which is.
Herman, I think we were at his rookie debut. I for whatever reason I think we were there, and he pitched awesome, and then I think that's why I follow him a little bit more. And then he fell off, and they sent him back down. Then he's come back, and he's been playing since then, and he's been to me he's been the same pitcher. I mean, every once in a while he'll have a bad game, but I think he's just a solid B. He's there when you could trust him for the most part.
All right, next, Marlon Gonzalez. Fuck him. F. He was terrible this year. In a utility role, he didn't really get a lot of at-bats. The Yankees used him more as the season went along because of injury. He played first base, played the outfield. But what did he finish? I think he finished with like a 190. Come on, here we go. A 185 average, 576 OPS, 184 at-bats. He should have been a better hitter than that. He is versatile. You know what? I'll be nice because he is versatile, and he does play. You know, he has played wherever they did stick him. He did play well. I'll give him a D. I won't fail. I'll give him a D for Marlon Gonzalez.
Yeah, no, he sucks.
All right, he sucks. I'm not going to fight you on that.
No, he's bad. I mean, the guy, he's okay at first base. He made some good catches at first base.
He's got a rocket for an arm. I love watching him play shortstop, to be honest with you. But I'll give him a D. All right, next here, who do we got? We did all these. Unfortunately, Chad Green gets an incomplete because of the Tommy John surgery. Moving along here, Jonathan Loizaga, who wasn't on the list because I guess he hadn't been hurt, right? So he came back. I don't know. I'm going to Loizaga, man. He's one of the most disappointing guys on his team this year. Is that he never regained that dominant form that he had? Because if he was that guy that he was last year, that's your closer. That's your closer right there. But he looks like that guy, then he doesn't look like that guy. Plus with the injury, I don't know. I'll give him a C for this. I'll grade him. I'll give him a C for the season, but I'm really disappointed in his overall performance this year.
I give him a B minus. I thought he got really good. When he first came back from injury, now he's thrown some good games. I think the last game he pitched, I think, or the last few, he's I don't know. He's maybe a C. He really isn't. I think last year he was much better. But yeah, I can't disagree with you.
Well, Castro gets an incomplete just because just all up and time up and down. Lucas Licky, I don't want to spend a bunch of time with Lucas Licky, man. This guy is like a fucking cockroach. Like he just doesn't go away, and he does a pretty solid job. I'll give him a B minus.
I give him a C just because he got a porn star mustache, and I don't like.
Ron Marinaccio, I'll give Ron. Unfortunately, Ron's going to miss the ALDS with the. I think they said he's got a fracture in his shin. And hopefully he'll be back for the ALCS, but I don't know. I'll give Ron Marinaccio a B plus, man. He was really, really good for this team. Faded a little bit at certain times, especially later, in August, September there. I guess he kind of might have been hitting a wall because he hadn't pitched, this many innings or whatever. But he was a guy I was calling for to get some closing opportunities. So I'll give Ron Marinaccio a B plus for the year.
I give him an A minus. I think he had to come up in a lot of places due to a lot of injuries, and he, like you said, he pitched more than he would have, and it just created an issue. I can't hold that against him. When we needed him to do big things in the beginning, he was there.
Frankie Montas is a complete failure. That's all. I don't even want to spend another second on him.
How long do we have? What was that trade? How many years on his contract?
He's here next year.
Ugh.
All right, Oswaldo Cabrera, I've been on record as saying the Yankees, that was a complete gaslighting by the Yankees calling him up because they really never had a plan to play him. I'm going to give him a solid B. I think he hit really well when he came up here. It looked like he could play the shortstop well. It's hard for me to give him anything higher just because I really should give him an incomplete, but I'm going to give him a B because I think he should be the starting. I think come Tuesday, his name should be in the lineup and he should be at shortstop. So that's just my take on it.
I'm going solid A just because I'm obsessed with him. I'm actually watching an Oswaldo Cabrera Bowman Chrome card on eBay right now.
You're ridiculous.
I'm upset. I think he's great. I can't wait to watch him play. Like I said, he's just like Oswaldo Cabrera. I like watching them. I get excited. I guess I'm just becoming old. I'm getting excited to watch the young players play. But they seem so happy to be there. It titillates me, and I.
Nice word usage there.
There you go. Spell it though.
All right, this is not a spelling bee. This is the NYYST podcast. All right.
Okay.
Nice, you're fitting in perfectly. All right.
Well, I was watching. I was listening to Boomer and Gio the other day, and Gio started doing that shit. So I was thinking of you.
He stole it. He stole it from us.
Exactly. I was thinking. I was like, this scumbag.
All right, we got a few more here. Let's get through them here. Clark Schmidt, I'll give Clark a B. I think he did a really good job out in the bullpen. He's another guy like Herman that the Yankees are going to rely on if they get short starts to give you 2 innings to get from, let's say, Sevy to a back end guy. I still have high hopes for him as a starter, but I think his job overall as a bullpen guy for this year was a B.
Yeah, no B. What he had one bad game. He was when he was the starter. He
Yeah,
gave up
when he had that
home,
I think it was out in Oakland. Was it out in
by
Oakland?
5 runs. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't pitch that well, but as a bullpen guy, I think he did a really solid job this year. And then lastly, I'll just 2 more. We'll do this. Greg Weissert. I'll give Greg Weissert a solid C. I think that's just the type of pitcher he's going to be. He's going to be another guy like Miguel Castro that he's going to, when his stuff is on, he's going to be unhittable and look nasty, but he's going to have his days where he's just going to get, as I said, he's just going to get this shit kicked out of him. And that's kind of what happened to Greg Weissert this year. Nasty stuff, but he doesn't always have nasty stuff when he takes the mound. So a C for Greg Weissert.
He looks like David Wells light to me. Do you get that vibe from him? I don't know why.
I have to look at. Is it the mustache?
It might be, but I just feel like I'm looking at a skinny, coked out version of David Wells.
I don't know. Maybe I have to watch a highlight of him pitch again. I never saw it because of the body type and the delivery. I never saw it, but maybe I might see it again.
I couldn't even grade him because every time he comes on is usually when I go do something for the baby or something like that.
Yeah, well, usually when he comes in, you should be doing something for the baby because it's usually not good for the Yankees. He's just one of those guys. But
I don't have to pay attention to him much.
All right, and last player here is Lou Trevino, who came over in the Frankie Montas deal. I got to give Lou Trevino an A-. I think Lou Trevino is really good for the Yankees this year. I wouldn't be surprised if he either sets up or gets some closing opportunities himself in October. Really pitched, as I said, he pitched really well for the Yankees. I don't know where the ERA finished, but he came over here with a mid-5 ERA. I think he was pitching somewhere in the mid to high ones for most of his time with the Yankees. So I'm going to give, just on his time as a Yankee, A- for Lou Trevino.
I mean, his ERA is, 4.57.
Yeah, but that's combined.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can't even say anything because legitimately, I think he came in after All-Star break, then he got hurt, right?
He had some back spasms, but he never. Yeah. I don't think he missed any time.
No, he didn't. I just feel like I haven't watched him enough. Like I just can't remember him pitching for whatever reason. I don't know if I zone out when he comes up. So
1.66 he finished with ERA for the Yankees. So you know what? He was a negative WAR player this year, whatever that means to you guys listening. But I thought he did a really good job for the Yankees. So one of their more reliable bullpen arms towards the end of the year when they didn't have a lot of them. So I'm going to stay with an A- for him. And finally, we've reached the end here. We've done all the players. Now it's time for the guy who writes their names into the lineup card, and that's Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone got an A from Chris at the All-Star break, an A- from me. I am going to. Why don't you go first on this? Why don't you go first here? I got to think about this for a minute.
Oh, so you're more of a baseball strategist than I am. I'm more of just an off-the-cuff, emotional baseball fan. So, I mean, I'm going to give him a C-. Everyone's like, "Ooh, Boone, another winning season." You know what? I watched a guy, and I feel like he tries to get blood out of a stone, water out of a stone, whatever the hell the state.
His blood out of a stone.
Plus, yeah, he's leaving these guys in, like Chapman. He puts him in there, and then he leaves him in there. And I'm like, you fucking moron, pull this guy out. He's going to blow the game. And then sure as shit, it happens. I just, I know he's working with an injured bullpen or, he's got a lot to make up for. There was this injury, that injury. I know the guy, he's managing a very big team. I know, Brian Cashman's probably calling him on the phone in between innings, telling him what to do anyway. It's all analytics based, this, that, the other thing, but it just pisses me off with the pitching. It gets me so aggravated. And then the way he sits there and spits those fucking sunflower seeds all the time annoys the shit out of me too. But it's just he's got to manage those pitchers better to me. And you can't I don't think it'll happen going into the playoffs now. I think if someone's playing like shit, he's going to yank him out, and I think it'll happen during the season. I think there was a few games that we probably should have been in there. We should have won, but he was just trying to, make something work that wasn't working, You see him do it all the time with Chapman because every time you put Chapman in, you almost, it's three pitches. A batter was getting the fuck out because he's gonna blow the game, and how many times he left him in there, and then he pulled him the other day when the game didn't fucking matter, and that's when who got hurt? Was that when Holmes hurt himself or Marinaccio hurt himself?
Yeah. So he's responsible for King and Marinaccio getting hurt.
That's
how I'm going to look at it. That's how I'm going to look at it.
Douche.
All right, so it's hard. The Yankees had a historic first half of the year. Then they fell off the face of the earth. That 15-game lead got down to 2. Okay, if they didn't win that series against Tampa when we were at that final game on 9/11 there, they didn't win that game. I don't know what the hell we're talking about right now. Obviously, they would have still made the postseason because it's not that hard to make the playoffs in the American at all anymore because of the extra wild card teams. But I don't know if the Yankees would have won the division had they lost that series. It would have been really friggin' scary, but they ended up running away with the American League. I don't know what it finished at. It's irrelevant because once they locked it up, they were set in the 2 seed. So wins and losses really didn't matter at that point. I think overall Boone did a pretty good job this year for what he is supposed to do. He's never gonna remind anybody of the greatest manager in the history of baseball. He's never gonna be Buck Showalter type strategist. And the Yankees don't. That's not what the Yankees employ him for, and that's not what he needs to be. I think he handled the Aaron Judge chase really well. He knew he couldn't give Judge days off. Peppered him in there with some DH days. It's kind of like what his job is, anyways, to kind of massage these things. It's hard for me to because the Yankees won 99 games in the division. It's hard for me to say that Boone doesn't get any credit for that. I can't leave him at an A. I'm going to say I think he had a solid B of a year. I think he showed some frustrations when they were going through that losing streak, where slapping the table, yelling at Meredith and all that other crap that he did. I think some of it was fabricated because you and I both know that we've had rage issues, to say. And if we hit something, we're not immediately thinking about fixing a microphone. Okay, so
or if I'm that pissed off, those tables, that table shook. I think he probably I would have broke the table if I was in that situation.
Okay, we don't hit people. We hit things. Okay,
breakable things.
So that was in younger days anyway. I don't think
that's why all those pictures behind you are covering up all the holes in the wall.
Oh my goodness gracious! It is 6-0 San Diego as they just hit another 3-run, their 3rd home run of the year, a 3-run home run. Max Scherzer has shit the bed here in Game 1 of the NL Wild Card Series. So that's not good for the Metsies. I don't want to gloat because the Yankees haven't played yet, and I don't like putting bad juju on the Yankees, but this is not good for the Mets right here. Not at all.
No, fuck Scherzer. How many people? Because people are saying that Scherzer owned Judge. That first go around.
And Judge hit a home run off him when they played at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, but not when they were playing at Citi Field.
Citi Field, yeah.
Scherzer slapped him around a bit, but
Scherzer got him, and then when they got to Yankee Stadium, Judge got him.
Mets fans were quick to go out there and talk.
Yeah, I know the Mets fans hung a banner after they swept the Yankees at Citi Field in July.
Yeah, and for a team that was in first place and now got in through the wild card, and fuck them.
So Aaron Boone, his last name starts with a B. That's what he gets, a B. I think it's only fair that he gets some of the credit, but I can't stick with it, the A- that he had at the All-Star break. So that is that. That is our Yankee regular season final report card here. Didn't want the postseason to cloud that because, you know what? If Judge takes an 0 for 15 in the ALDS, you can't hold that against the season that he had. Obviously, you're not hoping for that. You don't want that. You're not expecting that. But also at the same time, like, you like to get this stuff out of the way before anything clouds it. Because, like I said, we're like a guy with like Garrett Cole. What did I give him? A C minus?
Mm-hmm.
All right, he goes out there and dominates in the ALDS, carries the Yankees to a World Series. That's an A season, because that's really what he's here to do. So I had a good time. I loved having you here. This is your second time. You might have been on the show other times, but this is the second time you've actually sat in as a co-host here with us.
Just to call him Bust Chris's Balls.
Oh, yeah, you called him Bust Chris's Balls. Okay, so I want to thank you. Wish you again a happy birthday. I guess we'll be seeing each other tomorrow night.
Yes.
All right. We'll have the wives get in touch with each other to lock down time and location. But again, Jay, thank you very much for sitting in. Everybody watching on NYY News TV, hit that like button for this video. Subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. If you want even more NYYST content, go to patreon.com/NYYST. $5 a month gets you bonus episodes. And follow us on Twitter at NYYST_podcast. Chris and I will be back live Monday night at 8:30. We're going to preview the ALDS, Yankees versus who? We don't know right now. Right now, the Guardians do have a 1-0 lead on the Rays in that series. So, again, thank you for your continued support. Jay, you want to say anything? And Manny Machado goes deep, 7-0. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah. Metsies.
Yeah, I'll say hi, Sophia, because, she's going to make me say it, and I'll also say fuck the Mets.
All right, well, there you go. In the immortal words of our gone but not forgotten brother, SGR, go Yanks, and we'll see you on Monday. Everybody have a good weekend.